First of all, welcome to my home. To have all of you here today, and thrilled and honored that you would choose this space for such an auspicious occasion. Thrilled to have you. This is not a historic building. This is a very historic block here in Harlem. On 136th Street, A. Philip Randolph lived. Adam Clayton Powell Jr. lived on this street. Right across the street, where the Conte Cullen Library now sits, was the home of one of the most enterprising black women of all time, who was a member of our church by the name of Madam C.J. Walker. Her home was directly right across the street. If you feel sacred vibes emanating from the ground up through your body, it's because you're in Harlem. And this is special ground. This is holy ground. And I'm honored to share and lend this space for this great undertaking this evening. And I started my first firm and exited that when I was 25. So at this point, I felt like I had done all of the right steps that they say we're supposed to do. So I took what I thought was a little bit of money to try and find a wealth manager. I wanted to find someone that could help me get from here to there. I had figured out the basic steps, but how do I build true generational wealth for my family? The reality is I called up one. He said, hey, he was happy to talk to me in the beginning. He asked me, how much do you have in assets? I told him the number was not that big. And he said, well, to be honest, this phone call is not worth my time. If you don't have $1 million in assets, I can't do any business with you. So I left that call feeling dejected and unmotivated. And so that then led to the creation of Freeman Capital, where we have a vision of providing everyone with a personalized wealth building plan that is inclusive of their whole financial life. And so what we did was we surveyed thousands of people, close to 4,000 people, to understand what are your challenges and problems with growing and building wealth. The reality was it was too hard to get started and they did not know where. And that's especially important for people of color. Because I believe that we have a massive opportunity, but we have to take immediate actions now because the stats say that we have about 50 years until both black and Latinos' median net worth reaches zero. And the thing that makes our platform so much different than others is that we just don't say, hey, put your money in investing. Or, hey, just start saving or just find a way to pay off debt. We focus on people's net worth. As soon as they sign up, they get paired with a certified financial planner who normally costs hundreds of dollars per hour. And yet they can get that for a low subscription that costs around the price of Netflix and Hulu. So it is early days for us. We just launched our beta at the end of last year. But before that, we were able to grow an organic following through just content marketing of over 100,000 people throughout social media. Then we drove them down our funnel into our wait list with over 7,000 people waiting to get on as we move forward and launch. And so this year, what we're focused on is really understanding the cost to acquire our customers. And then we will launch a larger round in probably next year to then focus on getting to the point of profitability. And so that's a short summary. I don't want to talk too long because I know we're going to make a bit of a conversation, but that's at least the introduction of Freeman Capital. It means a lot to meet you all.
You spoke a little bit about sort of the timing and reaching the profitability. Now, what is Freeman Capital solely focused on right now? Like, what are you up to?
So right now, what we're focused on is identifying our key persona of users. So there are a lot of users that we could go after, but we're focusing on primarily women that are focused on buying or supporting black-owned businesses, because there is a very small, there are very few financial firms that are focused on that demographic. We all know these stats on how black women are straight crushing it, so it just makes sense to kind of start there. And then it's helping them to take their next steps. So we had a customer here in New York who was trying to figure out, hey, I have student loans, I'm trying to buy a house, I'm trying to figure out how to do my retirement. It's helping them figure out to navigate that, a plan, so that within 30 days, they get a wealth building recommendation, and then every month moving forward until they see steady growth within their net worth.
That's good. One more question while you all are thinking, partially because we were talking about this. earlier, a lot of the people in here they may have student loans, they may have ambition to buy a house, etc.
Yeah. So just a bit of the context, right? So for me, I don't know about you all, but when I heard all the political candidates talk about reparation on like the black media, I was like, stop pandering. But then I heard them on the actual campaign stage talking about reparations. So then that really advanced the thought, like, what if reparations came like gay marriage came? If reparations did come, we have a long-term goal to be the brand that is building wealth plans specifically for this demographic, right? Because we have different needs, just in terms of health, right? So we know that there is like diabetes, which is impacting black folks 3 times more than everyone else. That means that you have to leave work earlier, which means you have to be far more aggressive in your wealth building than everyone else. The models that are built for the rest of the population may not directly apply to ours. And so taking in that type of custom focus with major windfalls of reparation or of other things to ensure that that wealth is kept within our community and that those families prosper, that is our goal and ambition. AI is still in very, very early development, like very early, but our platform as a whole, that is up there. So most financial advisors only see about 156 customers in totality because they're human and that's all that they can do. Currently within our service, our financial planners are able to serve currently 888 customers to one advisor because the platform does most of the work. That then lets us to decrease our cost and make it more scalable.
I was going to ask, although there's tons of financial products that we can offer people.
Correct.
From your survey, what did people actually ask that they wanted to know about? Because I feel like with our community, it's part offering the product and the $10 a month, but it's part education. And I'm assuming it's different for younger people and different for older people.
Yeah,
so what were the things they wanted to know? So
this was interesting. So of the people that we surveyed, we of course, 87% of people, they put wealth building as their top priority. But 64% of them had never invested in their life. And so when you're talking about what are they investing in, it is literally the concept of I know I should be investing in something, but I don't know what that is. And so we get customers who try out Acorns or Robinhood because it's free to buy, so they buy a stock, and then what? Their wealth isn't building. And so we found is that they want that plan of, hey, I am here. There was an example of a customer that signed up and they were trying to invest to buy a house. And so we said, well, really, if you take that investment money and you pay down your credit cards to a lower limit, you'll get a better rate on your mortgage to buy the house. And so because our focus is not just on investing in the market, but on increasing net worth, we're able to think holistically and not just cramming a product down their throat.
My questions are twofold. One, who are your competitors?
Yep.
And two, you said that your demographic is focusing on women and like business.
Initial, yes.
How, for a woman who is not necessarily interested or like my primary focus is not necessarily like entrepreneurship, but I do want to invest and I use Ellevest, and Ellevest wants to work with women who might not have financial literacy, who might outlive their partner, or who might recently be divorced. What is a way that you can also empower women who might not be interested in the avenue that you're trying to target them?
So the competitors are kind of in 3 groups. You have the core robos, and they're providing the investment management service. So they are very good at providing low-cost investing in ETFs. That is what they do, okay? Then, you have the financial coaches, which are individuals that they're online. They might, they might be certified, but they don't manage money. They just do the coaching on budgeting and improvement. And then you have the actual registered investment advisors, they do manage funds, but they are humans. So they come in those three sectors. The things that make us different from those groups is that first, having a focus that's on black people is more than just the fact that we are black and we're targeting brown people, right? Because it's black and brown. But something that we're working on is we have an interesting relationship with money. We literally were money. Then during integration, we then began to spend more money to then validate our position in this economy. And then these behaviors are passed down through generation to generation. And so one thing that we're focused on is changing the mindset of our customers, because that and we were talking about this earlier, was just about shifting from a scarcity mentality to more of a abundance mentality, or developing a level of comfort taking risk. So back to kind of tying into the second question as well, because our basis is on helping people shift in their mentality. Just the other services are more focused on the investment products and the planning therein. And so our focus is more on the individual person, but then we use the technology to make it scalable to have that type of impact. Did that kind of speak to it?
Great answer.
All right.
How did you choose your lowest hanging fruit? How did you come to pick, the women who had small businesses?
So, and let me clear that up. So it's not just women that have a small business, but it's women who support Black-owned businesses. So they can be a regular consumer that's just is very big on buying Black and supporting Black. It's not that they themselves are a business owner. But the process that we used, because that's your root question, right?
Yes, I mean there's a second part to it. But.
All right. Well, then I'll get here. So we looked at 4 main factors, and I'm seeing like a grid that we actually created, like in our strategy plan. Was around cost, around market size, around the channels that we had to reach them, and then the competition. And so we looked at a number of different personas. And then the first one, which was the lowest cost one to reach, was the one that are female, Black, and very interested in supporting and buying Black, because via social media and through search we can target them for a very low cost. That's kind of why we came to them first.
How big is this market size?
All right, so if you talk about in totality, we are focused on the 22 to 45-year-old demographic of African American and Hispanic. That is 48.9 million people, and that is $2.3 trillion in assets that is unmanaged by wealth management firms. So that's the total market. Now, our serviceable market, the one that we're starting off on first. So what we've done is that we have taken women that are Black, same thing, and then we broke it down by college degree. And so the number one degree in income is pharmacist. And so there's only around 14,000 pharmacists who are Black women, and so we're first going to target them with very, very niche pages, very, very niche content, to then get to our next goal in terms of users. So we're at around 100 in paid and free. Then the next goal is 500, then 1,000. So we're going career by career, having very niche content, and then target that user, make them feel all warm and fuzzy, and then we continue to scale up from there. Did that speak to it? Because I went like big and small, and of course there's a plan from that. But you sound like you wanted to hear both ends of the spectrum. So we have organic interest from 72 different countries.
Wow.
So I would love to go global, but you got to start at home and you got to scale. But our platform as a service, serving our community, is not the end all. It's the beginning. It is a pond it's a very big pond, but everyone is overlooking it. Like, you all are Black magic in this room, right? And so like people are looking at us as a consumer, but not as a wealth management client. And so we see that we can start in this pond, and then later on when we have matured and then we are more secure, we can then go and compete in the majority markets as well, and then of course go global would be the ideal plan to serve customers who might be even at a lower end. Is that is where the AI comes in. So when you look at our full roadmap, yes, now we're very human-centered from like the very beginning, but that we can then come behind it and then have the AI implement the lower level type of conversations, which then makes our platform even more scalable. We can drop our price down even lower to capture more of the market, and then when someone has something that's more complex, we still have the humans there as well. So having that type of functionality would really go very far on what you are saying, because then we can serve a larger market in people and in income ranges. There was a question behind you?
Janae?
Greetings. I have 2 questions. My first question is, during the survey portion,
Yes.
Did you ask where people currently get their financial advice? I'm just curious to know what
The majority of them were Googling and friends, or they just didn't ask. So they just didn't know.
And then my second question is related to the growing through different job employment brackets. I know Black women often get advice from other Black women or turn to their friends or family for advice.
Free education. So it went pretty well, not just in the fact that we got hundreds of people to register, but we also, so everyone was happy because the people that signed up, they got the free content. We then paid the affiliates a fee to then bring the money, and then some of those emails turned into customers, so we covered our cost. So everyone was happy, right? So it was a test and it worked in January. That is a major part of what we are doing.